Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over how I actually ranked for the specific keyword TMS therapy reviews nationally without building any links, right? And what I mean by nationally, I mean there's no location modifier in the keyword. So there's no Los Angeles, there's no specific local area. It's TMS reviews nationally, so that's the United States of America, right? I want to show you how I actually ranked #1 for this keyword without building any links. And it's a fairly difficult keyword. It's got a KD, a keyword difficulty, if you are familiar with SEO, of 33, which basically means it's a fairly difficult keyword compared to certain keywords. The reason why I was able to rank for this keyword without building any links is due to the on-page structure, the high quality content and the on-page structure and things like that. But it was also due to the time frame, right? Because I'm not condemning links at all. What I'm saying is we had a lot of time with this client with this keyword, because the idea is every keyword that we rank for, we get $1,000. And usually when you're building links and things like that, it's more kind of for month to month services. So it really helps you move the needle. It helps you get that ranking much quicker, as if, instead of doing the service that we're providing, because this is a unique project. So it's not something I would usually do. So let's get down to it. So what we did when we started out was we did two things, right? We focused on content and we focused on the competitors, right? We really wanted to analyze what the competitors were doing and how can we do it better, because the way I like to see it is SEO is a measurement. You look at what the competitors are doing and you see how you can improve, right? And then we also focused on the content, right? So there's two, like I mentioned at the start of the video, there's two different types of SEO. There's local SEO and there's national SEO. And what that means is, if you have a keyword like, if you have a keyword like TMS Los Angeles, or you have just TMS in general, right? So that is a national keyword, and then if you add the location, is a local keyword. There's two different kind of processes and strategies you want to kind of implement depending on what type of SEO you're doing, right? So with this client, obviously we're doing national, but if you're to do local, your process will be slightly different. So with this client, we really wanted to focus on our competitors and the content. We really wanted to get the best of the best content, right? With local SEO, content is just, it is important, but what I'm trying to get at is the content that we're doing has to be the best of the best, really. It's not about, building citations and things like that. It's not about kind of that sort of stuff. It's more about how can you provide the best of the best content in terms of videos, in terms of, great written content with keyword, that's keyword rich, and things like that. And I'm going to show you how we do that today, using a tool. So just note down these two little points here. So content and competitors, right? So we're first going to look at the competitors to get a rough idea of what we're working with. So sometimes you can actually analyze the competitors using the naked eye, or you can use tools like Ahrefs. You can use Ahrefs or SEMrush or things like that to really analyze the back end as well. You can find out how many links are pointing to that competitor's site. You can find out, how much volume is going to their site. All these different things, right? And you can find out a lot more. I just kind of covered a quick snippet of what you can use with these tools, but I just kind of want to go over the websites with the naked eye, and then just using an on-page analyzer tool today, just to show you kind of, because we're not really talking about links today, we're going to be talking about how we've actually improved our site and our article compared to the competitor. And we're going to be starting off with the kind of the SERP preview, right? And what I mean by that is what is being shown in the Google SERP, right? So as you can see here, we've got two different articles, right? We've obviously got our article, our main article here, and then we've got other, people that are ranking for this keyword, my honest review of TMS for treatment for depression, TMS reviews, blah, 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 what patients are saying, TMS testimonials. And I just want to kind of compare which ones you'd be more likely to click on, right? So based on their kind of SERP content, what their title tag looks like, what their URL looks like, meta description looks like, right? So we're going to compare these two today, because this was the guy that keeps on, he kept on, we kept on getting into that number one position and going back down to second, and then hitting that number one position and go back to second. But now we're currently in that number one position. But this guy was our kind of main competitor, you could say. I just want to show you how we've kind of taken his title tag and we've taken his content and we've improved it, right? We've kind of made adjustments, we've made tweaks and things, but we've wanted to really analyze how he's done his article, and we want to improve ours. So as you can see here, we've got 9 patients share an honest review of TMS therapy. Our one is TMS therapy reviews brackets 9 personal experiences, right? So the reason why this is important is it improves something called your click-through rate, right? So you really want to get the best of the best title tag and the best of the best meta description, and you want to optimize this to improve the click-through rate. And what that means is the more, how many times someone clicks on your listing, and the likelihood they're going to click on your listing, right? And you can improve this by changing the title tag, changing the meta description, or adding review rating stars, which is only kind of basis on certain, industries and things like that. Google chooses when they want to show those stars or not. So it really depends. It really depends. So what you want to focus on is improving that title tag and improving that meta description, right? So as you can see here, we've kind of adjusted it to capitals to stand out more. And we've also done our main keyword, so TMS therapy reviews, more to the left, our incentive on the far right, right? So 9 personal experiences showing that, these are completely personal from the heart experiences about TMS therapy. 9 patients share an honest review of TMS therapy. I think R1 is kind of getting straight to the point from my perspective. You may have a different opinion. Just comment below if you do. But the idea is we really wanted to get that keyword as far to the left as possible, because the user reads that first, those first couple of keywords, because usually you're not going to read this area, are you? First, you're going to read that, first keyword. And also Google reads that first keyword. So it's important that you have your main key phrase as far to the left as possible. And as you can see here, we've actually got a meta description down here. I would say that depression is incredibly difficult over the years, so this is a huge improvement. All these different stuff. So let me know your thoughts on this on these title tag and on our meta description, and let me know your thoughts on the the comparisons between the competitor as well. One of the kind of phrases I was looking at doing as well was having maybe something like the truth about TMS therapy. Sometimes that could be quite nice as well. Showing like the real truth behind TMS therapy. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, but this is kind of how we improved it from a title tag and meta description perspective. So if we jump into the competitor here, so we land on the site, and obviously we've got a nice banner across here, got a call to action up here, and then we've got the 9 patients share an honest review of TMS therapy. So I just want to show you something that's important, right? When you click on the title tag, it should be the same expectation when the user clicks on the title tag to when they land on the page. It should be the same title, or at least the same phrases in the H1 in the main title, right? So that's just good. That's just good practice for SEO, and it's just good practice for the user, right? Because the user expects to when they click on that title, they expect to see the same content that they clicked on. They expect to see the same article that they clicked on. So it's important that you have that in place. So when you click on our article, you've got TMS therapy reviews, 9 personal experiences, right? So we're going to compare the both, right? So you scroll down, we've got an article down here, we've got some text down here, and we've got an image, which is nice, I guess. We've got an image here, and then we've got Robert. So he's doing it like a kind of a list. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 9, right? One of the things I would have improved as well, if I did it again, was maybe we got like 15 personal experiences rather than 9, right? To really improve it. So maybe we get, next time if we wanted to improve it more, we add another couple of reviews. So we change that title tag to like 15 personal experiences, even more, like giving the user more of a reason to click on our listing, because we're showing more and more evidence of clients' reviews, right? So I'll go back to the article in here. So as you can see, it's kind of like a list type article. So we've got some images, but it's more of like a list type article. Some fairly good images down here. I think these are more kind of stock images, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct. But if we compare our article down here, so when you land on the site, from a call to action perspective, and what I mean by that is having buttons, buttons for clients to, like call to actions, conversion buttons, you could say, so like request an appointment. We've got a contact us button up here, which is great. But the thing is you kind of want to think from your customer's perspective. If someone's landing on your page, right, and you're ranking nationally, not locally, request an appointment may not be the best thing to have on a national ranking page, right? Obviously, we've got contact us here because that's in the header and it's on every page, but maybe you want to add another call to action offering something that's beneficial to someone, say, in Texas when you're in, I don't know, Missouri or something like that. So because someone, it's going to take some time to get, someone's not going to come all the way to Missouri from Texas to get a TMS therapy treatment, right? They're not going to request an appointment, right? So it doesn't make much sense. What they can do and what will benefit them is a free depression test, right? Because anyone can do that. Anyone can land on the site, do a free depression test and find out if depression, if they're suffering, how severe their depression is. So we've developed this kind of little quiz, this interactive quiz, and you can offer this to, you can develop something like this with any business. Well, I mean, you can offer like a free resource, you can offer a free resource, you can offer some kind of free depression quiz, you can offer some kind of quiz around your service. A great example is a company called River Pools and Spas. And what they do, I think, is they do a, I believe, let's just find it here. So as you can see, when you land on this page here, you can actually design your pool. So you can find out what pool would be, how much would a pool be dependent, how much would a pool be dependent on the specifications, right? So you can, if you added some kind of interactive quiz, what this benefits is obviously time on page, right? So if you built some kind of interactive quiz like we've done in here, so we've added some kind of free depression test, people are going to be sitting on your page for a considerable amount of time. So they're going to be sitting on the page doing this test. And I don't know if you fully familiar with the new kind of, all of the kind of ranking factors, but this is a ranking factor, right, to Google, and it's becoming more and more predominant, and it will become more and more predominant in the future. Time on page and engagement rate. So if it indicates to Google that people are sitting on your site, analyzing the test, analyzing the quiz, you're going to increase that time on page, and you'll see ranking. You'll see rankings based on this. It's not incredibly powerful just yet, but it is becoming more and more predominant, right? And that's why you'll see certain sites that have, certain sites won't have great content and things like that, but they may have like cut some great videos on there or whatever. I don't know, but the idea is you want to keep your user on the site for as long as possible, right? Because this is an indication to Google that people are engaging with your content, right? So if I just go back onto the here, if I just go back onto our whiteboard, so we'll just note that down. So we've got competitors, content. Oh, I spelled content wrong. Right. So we've got competitors. So we're analyzing the competitors, right? So we've analyzed the competitors, and we're just going to kind of blend in with content here. And we're going to say, analyzing title tags like we talked about earlier, title tags, meta descriptions, right? And seeing how you can improve your title tag compared to the competitors to improve that click-through rate, right? Then we go over to the competitors. We also looked at how they've actually developed, call to actions, right? So they've got like a request an appointment, which is something that probably won't make much sense, like we talked about, for someone that's maybe searching TMS reviews in Texas, when you're based in Missouri, right? It may not be as beneficial to them. So what would be beneficial is some kind of quiz, and this helps the user as well find out if they've got severe depression, but it also helps you because it shows that but it shows to Google that they're spending time on the page, so it increases that engagement rate. So we've got like a call to actions, right? And we've got a quiz. So we've got a quiz which increases time on page, right? And it lowers your bounce rate, which what that means is when a client lands on the site or when a user lands on the site, they don't just bounce right off of it again. And if Google sees that lots of people are landing on your site and bouncing off, this will actually, it can actually lose rankings due to this. If Google is seeing that lots of people are going on your site and going off, you can actually lose rankings on this. So having a depression quiz will help that, keep that bounce rate high enough. And show to Google that people are actually engaging with your page. So let's carry on. So we go back here. We've got 9 patients share an honest review of TMS therapy. And as I say, you want to keep that same title. You want to have that same expectation for the user when they click on the title tag. When they click on that title tag, it's the same title on the page. So we just go back to here and we say H1, the same as title tag, right? So that's good. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we go back here. So we scroll down and we've got another kind of banner here, another call to action for the depression test. And we scroll down this client. We haven't got any call to actions, like no call to actions throughout the site. We have no call to actions throughout the page. There's a couple of links down here, but there's no real button. So you want to, when you build a big article like this, you want to keep those call to actions. Like we've got another one here, consistent throughout the page. And I'll show you how we did this on another client as well, TMS Los Angeles. Or we just go, let's say, OCD treatment. So when you scroll down here, we've got consistent call to actions on the right side, as you can see here, and we've got consistent call to actions within the article as well. So it's important that you have this in place when you're building quite a lot of content. We've got another call to action there. We've got some FAQs on this side, informing the user about TMS therapy. So it's important that we've got another video down here as well, which is quite nice as well, just really informing that user on TMS therapy and helping them understand what we're talking about. But getting back to my point, it's important that you have these call to actions throughout the article. We've got some reviews on that. So we'll go back to this page here. So there's no real buttons throughout the page. So it's important that you include them throughout the website, throughout the article. As you can see here, we've got them down here. And this isn't, helping SEO. What this is helping is the likelihood of a client, opting into something, right? So if you have like a contact us button, it's helping it's keeping that in their mind, right? I mean, to be honest, these call to actions actually indirectly help SEO, because when we add these call to actions and they click that free depression test, it helps the user stay on it enables the users to stay on the page for longer, right? So these are helping our SEO. So we scroll down some more. Again, what we've included is you've got these titles up here, but we've also included a video, right? So we've got a video of the client talking about TMS, and then we've got a transcript of the video, right? So we've transcribed what the client, client is talking about, what their review is. So we've actually taken this video and have actually used the content. We've developed a transcript out of this video, which enables us to have more content on our on our article, right? And you can do this. There's transcription services all over the place, or you can do this yourself. But the two things this helps with is more content, and having a video on the site is massively beneficial, right? So I'm going to add that on there as well. So a video on site. This helps with users that like to watch videos. Users like to watch videos much more than they do to read text, right? Much more than reading text, right? And there's evidence to back this up, right? There's, video is becoming more and more predominant. Like YouTube is one of the second biggest site on Google, I believe. It is a massive site, but it's just full of videos. Social media is becoming more and more full of videos. So it's important, if you can. I mean, to be honest, it should be something that it should be something that is implemented on your site. Having videos of your clients answering questions, having videos, video testimonials, if you can get them, video a client talking about, their experience with your company. So a video on the site is a great thing to add. Also, Google likes to see it because it's multimedia. They like to see multimedia on the site. Users like to watch it. I personally like to watch videos much more than I do read text. It also helps with time on page. Again, increases time on page. If someone sits there and watches, a 2-minute video, that's 2 minutes on the page, right? Increases time on page. So that's excellent, right? So video is a really good asset to have. Right, so we go back to our client in here. As we scroll down, we've got the content, we've got the content, we've got the content. Right, wonderful. So to move on to the next section of this, right? Now we're talking about the quality, how, the actual content on the site and how powerful our content is. And the tool we use for that is called Cognitive SEO, right? And what you can do is you can type up a keyword. So United States here, TMS reviews, and then you can actually see how well your content is performing compared to the competition, right? So if I just show you in here, and what you can do with this is you can actually add your content, and this is how we develop content for our clients. You can actually add your content into the content assistant system, and it gives you, it gives you recommendations on certain keywords to add, and this is based on your competitors. So again, going back to content and competitors, you're always looking at your competitors, and this tool helps you enable that, helps to enable you to develop high quality content that's structured in a way that will rank and is much better than your competitors, right? So you're not just kind of blindly adding content to your site. What we're doing is we're doing SEO, not GESEO, right? We want to develop content based on the data in this tool, right? We want to do, database optimizations, right? So as you can see here, so we've got TMS Therapy reviews. It's got its content performance of 91. And as you can see here, we've actually got one domain, one link to this URL. I'll just compare this, we've got 6 down here, but this client's got, 50, their content performance is 54. This is Mayo Clinic down here, which is a high authority site, 454 links to their, page. But I mean, the point is you can actually discover how well your page is doing in terms of a content perspective, right? So our page has actually got a 91 content performance, 45 focus keywords. We've actually added all of these important keywords. It's a highly important keywords that's used in the content. We can optimize this even further if we wanted to, because it will still give you recommendations on certain keywords to add, like obsessive compulsive disorder, low frequency, stimulation therapies. Like, you can still add loads of keywords. And this is how we develop content. We go through and we add our content, and then we go through all the different keywords and we add them to the article, right? In a structured way. Obviously, we don't want to just blindly add keywords to the content. We want to kind of develop content around that keyword. We want to make sure it makes sense, right? So there's another comparison. Our content performance is 91, their content performance is 54. We're focusing 45 keywords and they're focusing only 23. We've got obviously 4,000 words, and they've got 1,855, right? So there's another difference. So our content performance is 95, right? Content performance 95. So use Cognitive SEO anytime you write any content for your client. The only thing I would say you don't need to write content for when building content for your client is maybe you're just building a page like a page specifically for the users to help them understand some information. You don't really want it to rank. But if you're building content solely for if you want it to rank as well, use cognitive SEO. I know there's other platforms like Surfer SEO and things like that, but this is just the one I use and it works well for me. Another thing is the Keyword Explorer as well. They offer something called relevancy keywords, which you can go, if you go to filters and then you go keyword relevancy, and it's like a 5-star relevancy, it gives you all of the highly relevant keywords if you want to rank for this specific TMS reviews phrase. This is a great little tool to use. So to go back to my article here, now I want to go over how we've actually structured our page, right? So what you can use is you can use a tool called Browse SEO, and there's loads of tools to see kind of the H1s on the page, the in links, the out links, all these different things, where the links are, the alt text, all this stuff, right? So what this does is it kind of strips the site so you can see all these different details, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in a minute. Okay. Okay, we take the URL in here and we just plug it into Browse SEO, and then we're just going to duplicate this tab, and we're going to take the competitor's URL, right? Tab again, and we're going to take the competitor's URL and we're going to compare them in terms of the actual, the back end of, the actual structure of the site, right? So we scroll down, we've got, the title, description, SERP, things like that. And now we see the H1s and the H3s and the H2s, right? And this is something Google reads H1s and they read H2s. You don't really have to worry about the rest of them, right? But I just wanted to show you something that was quite interesting that I noticed, right? So we've got our main H1, and you should only have one H1 on the page. And that H1 should have your keywords in, and it should match your title tag, right? So we've got TMS Therapy Reviews, 9 Personal Experiences, and then in every single H2, we've got the name, and then we've added TMS Review just to keep that keyword density throughout the site, right? Because H2s aren't as important to Google, but you can have as many as you want on there. And you can, to be honest, it's just good practice to add some keywords to those H2s if you can, right? So if we just compare this to this client in here, if we just compare this to this client in here, so here we go. Now you see the headings, right? So they have a H1, up here, which is great, but they also have a H1 for Robert, they also have a H1 for Kim, they also have a H1 for Craig, and they also have a H1 for the rest of the names, right? So to Google, this page is reading these names, right? They're reading Kim, they're reading Craig, they're reading all these different names, right? Oh, if I just go back here, so they're reading all those different names. 2 seconds, I've just gone off of that. So this can confuse Google, right? And having multiple H1s on your page actually dilutes the power of the H1. Obviously, it's going to confuse Google and it won't be as powerful because there'll be so many on the page, right? So you just want to keep it clean. You just want to have one H1 on the site and then have your keywords in there. And obviously keep it the same as your title tag. So as you can see here, we've got multiple H1s on the page, which isn't good practice. So here we've got one H1 on here, and then we've got our H2s with TMS Review keyword in there, and then there's no other H1s on the page. Another thing I wanted to go over as well was the internal links. Internal links, so we've got currently internal links pointing to that specific TMS Therapy Reviews page. So what that means is how many pages inside your actual website are pointing to another page, right? And this is something a lot of SEOs miss, but it's really important, right? Because it helps pass the power onto certain pages and it helps Google crawl your site, right? It basically indicates to Google that this page is important, right? So what you can do is all the pages that you have, you can actually add maybe a link to your home page, or you can add a certain link to another page. But the idea is good practice. If you want a certain page to rank well, you want to add some links to it. You want to add some internal links to that specific page, right? So another thing is all the internal links, you want to make sure the anchor text is relevant to that page. And what I mean by that is, if I find an example in here, See if I can find an example. Basically, what you want to have is a page, right? And we've actually added some internal links. I just can't find them at the moment. We've added 81 internal links that directing to pointing to our TMS reviews page, right? Because this indicates to Google that this page is important, and it will help crawl this page. It will help Google crawl the page as well. So it's just good practice to add internal links consistently throughout your site to certain pages that you want to rank. And if we compare this to, so they've got 65 internal links and we've got 81 internal links. So obviously I would increase those internal links for this page as well, to improve it. So there you are, guys. I hope I haven't missed anything. And I know if it's confusing, just let me know in the comments below, because I'm trying to improve the way I, explain these certain things. So just let me know in the comments below how I did. Leave a like if you have got the time. And I hope this was of some benefit to you, right? And if you are interested in this sort of thing and you want to be updated on, my videos and stuff like that, and you want to talk to the community and subscribers and things like that, go and join my Facebook group, the Neat Crowd SEO and CRO. We talk about SEO, obviously, and we talk about conversion rate optimization, so website development and website design and things like that. So any updates as well are in here. We've also got free resources in here as well, so an SEO checklist, all these different things like an SEO proposal template. We've got quite a few bits in here, so I recommend you join the Neat Crowd. I'll leave a link in the description below. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.